Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. This is Nate Duckett, Mayor of Farmington, here today with Joe Sanchez with Waste Management, another episode of the Mayor's Table. Joe, the recycling edition that we did here back in, I don't know, August, maybe even earlier than that, was one of the most popular Mayor's Table segments that we've done. And we felt it would be really compelling to do another one right before Christmas because there's a lot of new stuff, trash, so to speak, in people's houses from all the gifts and everything that's going on. And so be able to give people a reminder of what is and what is not recyclable, I think it would be a good thing for folks. So thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Season's greetings, everyone. You know, one of the things about with the holidays and everything, of course, we see a huge increase in our recycling. One of the things that we'd like to see this year is a huge increase in our recycling, but making sure that we're doing our recycling right.
Right.
What is recyclable, what's not recyclable.
Well, and we can tell the viewers out there, actually, Joe reported us today that since that edition aired, we saw an improvement of the cleanliness of the recycling materials that came through the plant. So, good job, community. We're glad to hear that we're making a difference out there. But it was a huge education gap, Joe. I mean, people just simply did not know what was and what was not acceptable. And my wife, I can just tell you from experience in my own house, we now wash out the plastic, we wash out the tin cans, we make sure that we're not putting any of the pizza boxes into the recycle, so we did a good job.
I appreciate that because it's going to take everybody in the community to make sure that we clean up our single stream. That's the most that we haul out of here, out of the Farmington area is our single stream, which is, let's see, a refresher course.
Refresher course. Ready, single stream. Paper.
Paper.
Plastic.
Plastic.
Aluminum.
Aluminum.
Or metal, I guess is metal in general.
A tin.
Okay. Cardboard.
Cardboard.
Is that it?
Perfect.
Yeah.
He did.
All right.
He retained it.
I did. Well, you know, I got a cheat sheet here, Joe. So these are one of the stickers that we talked about last time.
Yes.
On the Mayor's Table, right?
Yes. So if you don't have one of these on your recycling can, they will be coming out shortly to you. We just received 5,000 more of them today to finish up what's left in the city. It's a quick little cheat sheet, so to say, on what's able to go inside your recycle container and what's not able to go in your recycle container. The only thing on here is there's no glass that we pick up curbside, but we do offer a recycling glass container here in our recycle center at 101 Spruce Street. And if you remember from the last video, we use that as ground cover at our landfill. It's not that we turn it back into glass again, but it's made out of sand, so we use it as ground cover to help our drainage and stuff out at the landfill.
Awesome. Well, I think this will be helpful for folks. If you haven't got yours on there, Joe said I could have one today, so now I've got one on my can. But certainly knowing what to do and what not to do this Christmas is going to be important because there's new things now that we're dealing with as we look at wrapping paper or bubble wrap. And maybe you can help us today understand a little bit more going into the season what we need to pay attention to.
Of course. So we'll start over here. I pulled out some props again today. You know, one of the things with the holiday season, everybody tends to do a lot of mail order stuff. I know we got family up in Canada, and it's a lot easier for me to mail order something to them or whatever. So you'll see sometimes some stuff will come in a huge cooler or something if you ask for a food product or something to get delivered for the holiday seasons. So this is something that, of course, we see an increase of this kind of stuff in our recycling stream and is not recyclable.
It's styrofoam, right?
It's styrofoam.
It doesn't change what it's made of. It is styrofoam, but it's something I think that people would be thinking, well, surely this can be reused. It's a well-made material, but no, not recyclable.
Not recyclable. Styrofoam is one of those weird materials that if we dump this in our landfill, it never disintegrates. So that's something I don't think very many people know. This actually I pulled out yesterday out of one of the bins right next to us.
Oh, really? Maybe we should ban styrofoam, Joe.
Maybe. So there's some other stuff that I wanted to talk about too. Of course, with all your packaging, you have these good old famous styrofoam peanuts that come in to hold all your packaging together. Again, please do not put these in your recycling can. They are not recyclable as well.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll keep talking about your packaging here. Of course, we got some good old bubble wrap. You know,
plastic wrap. It's made of plastic.
It's made of plastic, but
not recyclable.
Not recyclable.
So it's almost like the trash. It's almost like these bags because
Exactly.
We brought this up before. Your grocery sacks are not recyclable, even though it's made of plastic. This gets caught up in the machinery, slows down the process, and we spoke earlier about the fact that at the recycle plant, we've got a giant crane dumping trash into a conveyor belt area where guys with rakes are raking it off, and it causes major problems. I would imagine that this material does the same thing.
Same identical thing. It just intertwines and all that and goes crazy in there.
Can't be reused.
We have to shut everything down. Definitely not a recyclable item.
Okay.
So one of the things I wanted to talk about today is not just recycle, reuse. Reuse is also a form of recycling. So one of the things that is recyclable is, of course, newspaper. So one of the things I encourage everybody to do, and I kind of made a prop here, instead of going out and getting gift wrapping paper, just use newspaper to wrap your presents.
Just go old school.
Yeah, definitely
just go old school.
Old school, and guess what? When you or whoever opens up this gift, the paper they take off is recyclable.
Okay.
And now, with that said, I'm going to try to set up the mayor again. Recyclable or not recyclable?
If you're going to set me up, I'm going to say no. But you would think you would be. I mean, it's paper.
Good answer. So that's
What's the difference?
That's one of the things on most wrapping papers. Either got some type of foil on it, which is not a recyclable material,
okay,
or it's got a plastic. If you scrape it with your fingernail, you'll see that the plastic coating comes off of it.
Okay.
So that makes it a non-recyclable item. So
that may be the surprising one. I don't know, because I would think it's paper's paper. But good point on it. It's a processed paper with additional materials in it that are not.
Correct. So if you see, once you put a bow on it, they pretty much will look the same.
It sure is shiny. This one sure is shiny though, Joe. But you're right. I mean, this, you're saving money here. You get to reuse that stuff. There's also places here in town that take newspaper.
Correct.
I know the animal shelter, I believe, used to take newspaper.
They do.
Some other places. So, always somewhere where you can reuse that material for good.
So one of the other things, not just recyclable, but reuse, save your bows. I know my wife at home loves saving these bows, and then she just puts some Scotch tape on it and we'll use it again. Because
that's how I was raised.
Yep. These are not recyclable as well.
No.
One of the things, if you go to Recycle Often Recycle Right website, RORR, there's a cool little video on there that I watched this morning that you can make these bows out of magazine sheets, which is kind of cool. When I saw them put it together, they just get a really colorful page and they fold it up and staple it and instant bow.
Now, I know your wife is a big-time recycler and reuser, because I've seen her quilts or the mats that she makes out of the plastic bags. So does she introduce you to all these ideas on how to use this?
Not all of them. I knew some of them. You got to give me some credit. So that's,
all right.
That's really important, to think about that stuff of the reusing it. It's not just recyclable, the material, because, if you can reuse something like this, as we spoke last time, our landfill here in San Juan County has a limited lifespan.
Yeah.
The more we put in that, the less the lifespan gets. So anything that we can do to reuse or recycle or re-give, one of the things I wanted to talk about as well is Christmas lights. That's a big one. If your Christmas light string is working and you upgraded your house to an LED lights, don't just throw them in the trash. You could take them to places like the Ark or the Salvation or Army or a thrift store of some sort, or sell them at a garage sale. Just keep them out of the landfill if they're all working. That's simple little stuff that each and every one of us can do to help out our community and our environment.
Absolutely. Well, I can tell you, we got a whole box of ribbons at home. I'm sure my mom's got a box from like 1985 still filled with bows, because that's what we did. Mom was all about reusing. Matter of fact, you would love my mom, Joe. She takes your big gallon Ziploc bags, she washes them and uses them again.
That's my house.
Yeah. All right.
All right. The other thing I'd like to talk about is tissue paper and gift bags. There's another one that you can definitely reuse. As you can tell, this is reused because it's from last year and I brought it from home. So gift bags is another great way to give gifts. You can reuse the bag over and over again. The other thing that I highly recommend is you can get the real fancy tissue paper to shove in there, but you can use newspaper just the same. And any of that stuff that we keep out of the landfill and we reuse or recycle, better off again.
Yeah. You're pushing it with some folks, Joe.
Pushing it.
I don't know if the newspaper thing's going to go over, but I like where we're going with this. It's responsible use.
It is. It is.
And it serves this purpose. I don't know what's in that box.
Sustainable. We want to make it sustainable.
Well, excellent.
So one of the other things, you know, the box, speaking of the box, that's really important is cardboard. That's one of the materials we talked about that's recyclable. It's really important that if you have curbside recycling at your house, at your home after the holidays, please break down those boxes. You know, you got the big toys that hopefully you got your kids or your grandkids or whatever. Please break down those boxes and put them inside your tote. Our trucks aren't designed just to pick up a big box. They're designed to pick up the totes that are at the residence. So,
and it really doesn't take a whole lot of time to do some of these things that Joe's talking about. I mean, breaking down a box doesn't take a whole lot of time. Making sure, you know, you talked about the tissue paper going in the bags. We reuse the tissue paper as well. So any of those things that we could add, again, to celebrate somebody's birthday, a holiday, we want to make sure we just reuse it instead of spending money on new.
Plus, if you break down that big box, your neighbors don't know what everybody got. So it's important, you know.
It keeps somebody from seeing that brand new Dyson, you know, vacuum cleaner.
Yep.
They don't know what's in your house or your entertainment system.
Exactly.
Whatever it may be. But yeah, break it down and put it away. We had a couple other things here that we had sent out on notes, or I'd received in notes, and it had to do with when you're entertaining guests. And this is something that we do in our house as well. But you write the name of the person whose cup it is, the plastic cups. Are the plastic cups recyclable?
Only if they're clean.
Only if they're clean. So we actually, in our family, we have so many cousins and relatives in our family, we actually print out stickers with names on it. So you just take your sticker, put on your cup, and then you don't have to reuse another plastic cup.
That's a great idea. And you'd be surprised on how much you'd save yourself and save the landfill if you did that.
One I thought was really interesting is have a designated recycled trash can there for people when you're at the Christmas celebration and you're opening up gifts so that you can just dispose of it right away into its proper trash can. I think ease of access is really important when you're asking people to kind of change behaviors or do new things, and that to me makes a whole lot of sense. So I thought that was a great example. Some other stuff that was mentioned here, Joe, had to deal with frozen foods. We love green bean casserole. We make a lot of that around the holidays. The plastic, again, I think you kind of treat that plastic like you do the grocery sack plastic.
Exactly.
Those plastic containers are not recyclable, making sure people know that. And then something we talked about earlier, whether you've got a big bird that you've roasted for the holidays, whether it's a ham, talk about the tinfoil pans.
So the tinfoil pans, I wish I would have grabbed one of those today, but as long as it's washed out and cleaned out, it's recyclable, it's aluminum. But if you get like a food stain on there that will not wash out, you can always just take a pair of tin snips or scissors and cut that section out, throw that in the trash, and whatever's clean, put in your recycling bin, please.
One of the things people ask a lot about has to do with Christmas trees. Does Waste Management deal with the Christmas tree disposal at the end of the season?
So the city of Farmington is actually in charge of our recycled Christmas trees. It will be at Berg Park, I believe, is one of the locations, and Fire Station number 5. It will be open on Christmas Day until January 7th.
That's good.
And what the city is going to do with those is they'll let them dry up a little bit and they'll chop them into mulch and use them in our parks.
Yeah, so it gets reused. I like that. As a kid, my grandmother was allergic to pine, so we always had the fake Christmas trees. So having those fresh pine-smelling trees are nice to have, but it's good to have a place to get rid of it. Don't just throw it in a landfill, or well, first of all, you can't throw it in a landfill. Don't throw it behind my house or in the glade either. There are places you could take it. Fire Station 5 and Berg Park will have places where you can bring those.
Free of charge.
Free of charge, and they get reused here inside the city to make our parks clean and beautiful.
Yep.
I like that. Well, Joe, what else can we share with these folks or this Christmas?
You know, the last thing I'd like to say is I just like everybody to have a safe holiday season. It's really important. There's a lot of things that we can do this time of year that will help. One of the things we talked about earlier is the lights. You know, reusing those Christmas lights. If you have a string that burns out, it's not a recyclable item, so please throw it in your regular trash. The other good thing to think about this time of year is, speaking of having a natural tree at your house, is it's a good time to check your smoke detectors as well. And one of the things that we don't talk enough about when we talk about recycling is Waste Management also has a program for battery recycles. If you get on our website, the Waste Management site, it's called Lamp Tracker, and you can collect your batteries, and they'll send you out a little container to send them back to you so that we recycle those as well.
So don't put your batteries in the trash either.
Don't put them in the trash either.
Not safe.
That's not good for our soil at the landfill, for sure.
Okay. Joe, there was is there a place where people can go online if they wanted to get more information about recycling, or this was specific to recycling wrapping paper? Is there anywhere on there?
So if you go to the Recycle Often, Recycle Right, the RORR site, it has information and links to lead you to all that kind of stuff for the holiday season.
Good deal. Well, we appreciate the job that you guys do over here. Thanks for joining us here on the Mayor's Table. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, everybody out there. Please dispose of your trash appropriately. Let's recycle where we can. Keep it out of our landfills. Have a safe and happy holiday season.
Thank you, everyone.